Minutes. Welcome back to part two with Ben Fiore. Ben, welcome back.
Well, I'm here, and it's great to be here. Thank you.
Yeah. So we were talking. That Ben is a retired uh police officer from New York City, right?
Oh, yes. The Big Apple.
The Big Apple, from Coney Island to Long Island to being a transit police officer. And then he retired and he worked on making his dream come true, which he has made come true. He's the winner of the Best Thriller Screenplay, the fifth grade. He's an optioned screenwriter. He's an option screenwriter, award winning, and recently produced screenwriter. And part two, we were talking about how he went from cop to successful produced screenwriter, and one of his first lucky breaks was his film Pursuit, the action thriller starring John Cusack, and he's the co-writer, and it's currently on Amazon and Apple TV if you'd like to check it out. And so, Ben, what do you want to talk about next? So you have these award-winning screenplays. Do you want to talk about?
Right.
We talked about your lovely wife and sons. Your wife has some beautiful children's books. Your son is interactive designer for Marvel Entertainment. Hello, and your son is an actor studying with Lee Strasberg Institute and Film and Theater in New York City. So the whole
Yes.
family is in entertainment now. And do you want to talk about the co-creator of your sitcom project? Do you want to talk about that one? What do you want to talk about next?
Oh, yes. Yes, I'd like to speak about that. I ventured into a little comedy. A few years back, I had an idea, and it's called the Mamaluke. And, Mamaluke is like a slang Italian term for somebody that's like kind of a goofy wannabe type.
Wait. Let's say it so they can hear it. Mamaluke. Is that how you say it?
Yes, it's called the Mamaluke, and it's a story about a middle-aged sappy type of guy. And what he does is he likes to make his friends and neighbors think he's an actual mafiosa, but in reality, he's just a real schlep for the real wise guys down at the social club. He runs errands for them, he cooks for them, wash their cars, gas up their cars, that kind of stuff. And at home, his wife, his living mother-in-law and his kids, they know the real deal, so they really rib him at home for it. And all the things, the situations that he gets into, all are based around his trying to purport that he's a mob guy when he really isn't. And it's a really it's a fun original concept. And Johnny Roast Beef Williams of Goodfellas and Green Book and Honeymoon in Vegas, and he's the lead in it, and he's just perfect for it. He's great. And we had shot a pilot out in LA. We shot a pilot and a few additional episodes that we've been shopping around. So right now, the whole thing is that they're into more, the reality type of shows. So there's less scripted. So, but we're still out there pushing it, and it's a lot of fun. And people can actually go. We have a website. It's www.mamaluketv.com. So you just spell out Mamaluke, MAMALUKE, one word, .com. At mamaluke.com, you can see the episodes for free, and the pilots there with the additional episodes. There's a little bit about all of us on there. There's a sizzle reel, so people could check out the show, and we're currently still pitching it.
Yeah, so I want everyone to know. Can you share who's in it? Come on. You didn't share who's in Mamaluke.
Oh yeah, well, Johnny Roast Beef Williams is the lead. Like I said, he's from Goodfellas. We have
so that's Ron, a real person's name, right? The Johnny Roast Beef. I thought that was the character's name. Forgive me. Oh my gosh.
Actually, they call him that in Goodfellas, so that name stuck with him, Johnny Roast Beef. But okay. Johnny Roast Beef Williams is his name, and he's the lead in it, and he's great. You recognize him right away when you see him from Goodfellas, and he's been in quite a few things.
Like Green Book as well.
Yes, Green Book, which was Best Picture a couple of years back. Great movie,
So you
by the
got a
way.
Best Picture actor and an actor from Goodfellas, which happens to be one of your favorite directors, Martin Scorsese, who wrote Goodfellas, and you
Right.
study Goodfellas. So all your childhood stuff that you love is coming true, and you're doing quite
Yes.
exceptionally well from like from cop to top of the hot top in Hollywood. So congratulations, so proud, so happy for you, because it's like
Thanks. Like I said, the persistence. As long as you have to stay in the game and you have to be persistent in order for things to happen. If somebody's just dabbling and they're never going to get there. You know what I mean? You have to just, as you know, it's a tough, tough business. And like I said, if I had all the rejections on paper, I'd have a room stacked up with them. But they just make you still. You have to just come back. You use it to make you stronger, and you come back. So when you're persistent, things will eventually happen, and it takes time. I wish like the break happened 20 years earlier, but hey, better late than never, right? As they say.
yeah, I'm on that older career path myself, because it would have been nice to have some success early on, but if you don't have those name actors attached, like they always want like, oh, we love this script. Do you have the A-list actor attached? And you're like, I thought you're supposed to do that. and
Exactly,
and
exactly.
yeah, so now I'm, but now I'm turned into a producer and literary manager and but like there's so many times you want to quit and you're so discouraged, but you just have to keep going. And I just for some reason, whatever, I'm on I'm on the turtle. I'm like, I'm not the hare. I didn't get the fast track. I got the slowest,
So did I.
longest, waiting for my turn to cut to happen. And like I have a lot of good meetings coming up, and I pray that like one of those will be finally the door that opens and I can see
And,
my
it probably will be. It probably will be because you stuck it out. You stayed with it. That's what I mean. Like, people that just say, "Well, I'm going to dabble in this and see if something happens." Their hearts are in it, but it's part of everything you do. It's what you want. You're not just dabbling. You're in it. You're in it. For the long haul. And that's what I got to tell myself. So look, you're in this for the long haul. It's not going to be easy. Is this what you want? Is this your passion? Yes, it is. You know,
yeah.
and even if it didn't go any further than this, I'd rather have tried than look back, say I never did it. I never had the guts to try it. I'd be terrified to look. You're saying what could have been. You know what I mean? Like, can you imagine? You don't do it. But, you have reservations. I can't. I don't want to do this. Blah blah blah. And then years go by, and years go by fast. And 20 years, like it just goes by like that. And if I had never tried it, I don't know how I'd feel right now. And then look, and I did try it, and things are happening. So
Yeah.
you just got like I said, I wish the breaks would have happened 20 years earlier, but hey, they're still here, so I'm gonna make the best of them. You know,
Yeah, and I want everyone to know, like, you also have a multiple award-winning short thriller script called Condemn, and
and them.
yeah, and it's like honorable mention nod at the Hollywood Script Award competition, and you're working on the hard screenplay, and
Yes,
you also have another a multi award-winning feature-length female lead psychological thriller screenplay in The Quiet of the Evening,
yes,
co-written by
right,
Raymond Isaac, and
right,
that's recently optioned by Milestone Studios in LA. And your boxing
yes.
short, Puncher's Chance, is was going to be produced.
That
Uh,
was produced. By the way, it's a woman director who actually she's the script supervisor for the reboot of MacGyver. That's filmed in. You remember the TV show MacGyver? They
oh
did a
yeah.
reboot. Yeah, for CBS All Access, and she's actually the script supervisor for that. She wanted to go into the directing. So she discovered the script, and it's a short boxing theme, and she shot it like 2 summers ago, and they're just completing some things on it now, and I'm hoping to see it soon.
Oh,
So
that's
that
Pumper's Chance. That's a Puncher's
Puncher's
Chance.
Chance,
Puncher's like boxing,
right?
right?
Right. It's about a boxer, the corrupt manager. Yes, Puncher's Chance is actually a term in boxing for a guy that may not be the best skilled boxer, but he's got a hard punch, and if he lands it, he's got that chance of knocking the other guy out. And it kind of focuses on a boxer whose manager is very corrupt and bets against him, and he finds out and he takes a bad beating. So it's a pretty cool story. So I'm dying to see it. come to life on the screen.
Well,
So that
your writing sounds like it's exceptional, like exceptional, and you're writing what people want to go see at the movie theaters. They want to see action, they want to see thriller, they want to see horror, they want to see sports boxing. Like, you definitely you are having these things that and everything that you're getting like these A-list actors on it, these A-list accredited TV producers, and so congratulations. I'm really so happy for
thank you
you.
so much. Like I said, there's still a ways to go, but these little strides, and they make you want to keep going. You know what I mean? When these things happen, you say, "Wow, it is possible." So I got to keep going. So I need the shot in the arm with this stuff. And yes, little by little, things are happening.
Yeah, and then
So I'm happy.
yeah,
Yeah.
I just want everyone to just be so inspired by this, podcast episode. So it's never too late, everyone. It's only too late if you give up and never try. So I hope that this is inspiring you to try, to write that script, to produce that script, to direct that script, to try acting, to try whatever you want to try. Like, I didn't know how to do a podcast, but I had to learn all by myself. No one taught me. No one taught me anything, and I wrote my children's stories are so important to me because I write comedy and I write children entertainment. I write screwball comedy, and I wanted to do something that I wasn't didn't I remember sewing. I can sew by myself. You get like the material and the machine, and I just was by myself and could make a dress or a top or pants or whatever I want to make. And like podcasts kind of was my way of like I didn't need like when you make a film, you got to get the DP, you got to get the actors, and you got to get all this stuff. So during the pandemic, I go, oh, I can make a podcast, and it could just be me. I can write it, I can direct, I can produce it. I had to figure out how to do all the voiceovers by myself, and I was up
That's
and running. I didn't need everybody because like in Hollywood, like before they before they let you in, you got to get this actor and that one and this one and that one and oh, and so it's like so that was a way to like I could just play and do it without having all these obstacles. So hopefully everyone that's listening is inspired to just start and follow their passion. And I wanted to who inspires you to write? Do you have any writing styles? Like any writers that you're writing styles?
I always admired Rod Serling with getting back to the Twilight Zone and that type of writing. He's one of them because he also had written. There's a great again in boxing comes into it again. There's a great movie called Requiem for a Heavyweight. You probably heard of it. It's an old film. It was actually done twice. It was done as a teleplay, and then the movie version starred Jackie Gleason, Mickey Rooney, and Anthony Quinn. And it's a great story about a broken down heavyweight boxer, and then Jackie Gleason plays the corrupt manager, and that kind of story again. And the script was written by Rod Serling, so it showed how versatile he is with his writing. It wasn't just a Twilight Zone type of thing, but he stepped into that realm in boxing, and he wrote an amazing story. If you ever get the chance to see it again, it's a great old film. It was probably done in the early 1960s, and
Requiem
Requiem for a Heavyweight,
for a
and
heavyweight.
like right, and it's a great story, and that was written by Rod Serling. So I always admired him and his style of writing, and especially the Twilight Zone. He wrote most of those episodes.
And he was a
You
host
know,
of it too, right?
yes,
So Rod
yes,
Serling
he
was a
was the
host. I had no idea that he also wrote those episodes. Wow, he was super
most of
talented.
the other writers that were very gifted writers, by the way, that also wrote with him on there. But the majority of them he wrote himself, and he created the whole concept of the Twilight Zone, which is
Wow.
again, like I had mentioned earlier, something I would love to be a part of an anthology like that again.
Yeah.
So that he was kind of an influence. Always having admired him and his work. So yeah, that's I would say that was like probably the number one influence as far as actual.
Well, Ben, I'm gonna tug your little writing chain because I have a podcast called Go Sleep ghostly stories and strange things now. Ghostly stories and strange things. So maybe we'll do like a little a ghost story, or maybe we can do a podcast featuring some of your things. I did thrilling stories, identity theft. That was a Brian Herskowitz script that he wrote, and we had like Gina Hecht, Adam Lazar White, we had Joel Gibbs, Emmy winner Leonard Wolf in that. So that's on thrilling stories, and we did one season of identity theft, and it was so much fun. And some of those podcasts get turned into TV shows. So you can sometimes do the podcast series, and then like Amazon or Netflix or Hulu looking for stuff, we'll say, oh, we'd love to turn that into a TV show. So sometimes that works. But
Sure, that's good. I'm on board for all of that.
oh,
You know,
great, yeah.
I'm there. You know.
Yeah. It's like we only have so much time, but since, like you try to find what someone likes writing, what they have writing, because that's what they're going to focus on. That's their content that they want out. So you
Right.
try to align up with what people want, because you go to a studio for animation, for children's content, you don't go with them with horror stuff. You got to find like what they need. And a lot of people do have their own content that they're creating. So sometimes you go to people like you hear like their schedules set for the next 5 years. Like certain studios, like you can't even get in because I mean, my writing class with John Shanner, and he just passed away. God bless his soul. His best friend was Jack Nicholson, and he was wrote like the Island Dr. Moreau. He said one of his students was Trouble with the Curve, and that guy was a bartender. He wrote Trouble with the Curve, put it in his drawer because he didn't know an A-list agent or manager or actor, so just gave it up bartending. One day he was at a party, met a lady that knew Clint Eastwood, and it was the right place at the right time because that's Clint Eastwood's schedules full and booked for the next 5 years. It's just booked. And
I can imagine.
a lady got pregnant, so she wasn't able to do it. I think it was a big star like Beyonce got pregnant, wasn't able to do her film, so he had an opening for a new film, and he never has one. That lady was the right place to tell Clint Eastwood about Trouble with the Curve, and it was took 10 years before he had that meeting with the lady because some Beyonce was pregnant. There was an opening for him looking for a new script, which normally wouldn't. That was meant to be. So that's how Trouble with the Curve came about. So sometimes you have to wait for that being in the right place at the right time for
Yes.
everything to align, which is interesting. Some people just like get their luck so fast and just everything lines up quickly in their 20s and their 30s, and I'm past 40, so I'm on a long turtle path.
Yeah. I mean, again, it goes back to just being persistent and not giving up. And that's the way I look at it. Like you just mentioned. Like again, I wish it happened 20 years ago, and I would have had more time to enjoy it and to keep moving forward. But hey, I'd rather have it. Now it's better late than not having it at all. Any kind of success.
Yeah.
Like you said, sometimes the timing, the stars have to be aligned for you, and your right place, right time, and somebody's listening. You know,
Yeah.
and and hopefully that happens as well for me. But little by little, like I said, things are happening. So
Well, you write action and thrillers because everybody wants that big action script. Like they want those
oh
action
yeah,
scripts. They want those genre films, and they want the horror films because like in Hollywood they know that like horror films a little bit easier because people go to be scared and have fun, so don't really need to
right,
have all those name actors. But even though they love having name actors or those social influencers that have the followers, but it'd be nice if they let more new people come in that are just talented and give them that lucky break. But everybody wants that. The investors want like, well, how many pre-sales, how many, it's like, so it's like a money thing. It's an easier thing to put at the top, but that's why independent people, you just keep encouraged, just trying to keep encourage anyone, because there's maybe like so many talented people that aren't encouraged, that we're missing out on all their beautiful art, like their stories and their films. So I'm thanking everyone that has opened the doors to me and to you and to people that are artists that are newer, that are worthy of having their stuff being looked at, because those are precious stories that the world would love to see, and I'm sure the world would love to support it by going to see it. So if you guys want to support Ben Fiore, he's got a website that you can check out all his stuff. It's right, Ben, it's your
right. benfiore.us. So it's just Ben Fiore, BenFiore.us. And that's my regular website. And on there, you can learn more about available screenplays, a little bio of me on there. And there's the sizzle reel for the Mamaluke TV series on there and stuff like that. So that's benfiore.us.
Yeah. And if you,
people can check that out.
yeah, and if everyone's listening, want to say thank you so much for making us. We're top 5% podcast right now, and we're hitting #1 weekly in countries. Want to say hello to all the beautiful countries and USA for listening. And if anyone wants to give us, hit the 5 stars and subscribe. If you can download the podcast, that help me out a lot. And if you'd like to donate, buy me coffee, Sneakies, or PayPal anonymous contact, be so appreciative. And all of Ben Fiore's and all the information is always in the summary. I'll put that in there, and I always have a nice photo of our guests. And so Ben, do you want to share like your favorite Criterion film or anything like that with our audience?
Actually, that you brought that up, being John Malkovich falls into that category, and I thought that was like the coolest thing when I had first seen that. When they find the portal and they get into his head, and I think he's an absolutely brilliant actor. He's brilliant. Anything he does, and these days, he's still around. He's doing, he's an older now, but he's doing a lot of stuff. And as far as that category, I always liked that one. I thought that was really cool. It just took me in, you know what I mean? And I just went along with it, and I loved it. And I, like I said, I think he's a wonderful actor. So all the more I got into it, it was about him, and you're just following him around, and when they get into his head, and it was a pretty cool concept, So in that category, I kind of like that one.
Oh
I
yeah.
remember that. I'd like to see it again. As a matter of fact, I always like to revisit some of my favorite movies. Just recently, my wife and I watched. We always like to sit down on the weekend and watch, a movie. And we just watched again. We watched Joker with Joaquin Phoenix, who I also think is absolutely brilliant. And he deserved an Academy Award hands down. We just watched that again, and he was just absolutely brilliant in that. And so yeah, that's I love to when I watch these movies too. I kind of look at it in a more analytical type of way, because I'm paying attention to the script and to the direction and everything. So you're probably like that yourself. You look at a movie, you're not like the average moviegoer. Now you're kind of analyzing everything, and those are great films that we just mentioned.
Oh, well, since I was born in Naples, Italy, ciao everyone. I gotta say my favorite, Federico Fellini, 8.5, La Dolce Vita. Like, I mean, yum, 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 yum. Like those, like I see those films and go, and like when I look at these master filmmakers, I'm like, how do I even start? I mean, some of these are so intimidating that like I just, there's just so many beautiful films, especially the old black and white films. It's just stunning.
Yeah.
They're so stunning. Very stunning movies, like the Samurai trilogy, like the Seven Samurai, and El Samurai. That's the French one where the guy's in his nice little outfit and drives his car around. Like I was so fascinated with that one. I was just like, I didn't even know what they were saying in French, but I was just like, I'm gonna keep watching this one.
You can still appreciate the beauty of it, and the way it's put together. And it's funny you mentioned that, because even if you're not understanding what they're saying, just seeing it and seeing the way it's put together, and you're enjoying it just for that, in that sense. You don't have to know really much about what they're saying if the film is that good.
Yeah,
But yeah.
and there's some that like, I don't know what they're doing, like the Seventh Seal, like Ingmar Bergman. You're like, okay, you know what I mean? Like you would just be like, as a little kid, I didn't understand a lot, and they'd be over my head. But there was just something fascinating about, and like, just I have to mention, because I guess I'm Italian, so I gotta like stand up for like my country, La Ventura. I mean, how beautiful is Monica Vitti and director Michelangelo Anton. You could probably say it better than me, Antonio Onia, right?
Right.
Yeah, my mom's Antonetta, so I always like saying that. And like, there's just Oh my gosh, there's just so many beautiful films that are black and white films. Like everyone knows by now, The Bicycle Thief, like that is just heartbreaking. And El Postino, you're just like, oh my heart. You know what I mean? And
Yeah, The Godfather is 50 years this year.
The
And
Godfather
that
is
now
50 years. Wow.
50 years, 1972 was released. And I remember I begged my parents to take me with them to go see it, and they took me to see it. And I was absolutely fascinated sitting in that theater. And to me, that's a masterpiece of cinema, and it always will be. It'll always hold up, no matter 50 years or even another 50 years from now. It'll still be looked at as a masterpiece. And I remember sitting in that theater as a young kid, 13 years old, whatever I was, and I was just like totally fascinated by it. I was totally taken by it. And the one movie I wanted to add real quick to you, the one movie that I was a teenager that I went into the movies to see, and was the original Jaws. The first Jaws, it actually changed my life, and that really made me really want to be a part of the magic. I just thought that, and to this day, it's my favorite movie of all time. I thought the storyline, the acting, everything about it was just so great. It just hit the mark with me. And I remember as a kid, and I was just like totally astounded in the theater. I had to go back about 8 times to see it again. And to this day, Jaws just stands out with me. That was the film that really, like, it kind of changed my life at that point. I said, someday I have to be part of this magic. I have to be. If they could do this, if they could thrill audiences like this, and have, and then releasing it at the beginning of the summer, how ingenious is that? You didn't even need any advertising. Nobody wanted to go in the water. It's all everybody was talking about, And I just, to this day, that stands out as as that was the key, movie for me. Like the time that I just stood out, I said, man, I wish I could be part of this magic that these people pulled off. It was so great, so great.
Yeah, and, I went did you ever go to Universal Studios and go on the train and see, like, the Jaws one at
Yes,
Universal?
they used to have. Yes, they had the thing where you're in that boat, and then they had the Jaws. I heard that they don't have it anymore. I don't know for
Ah,
whatever reason.
that's a
But yes,
shame because that was like the train would take you around Universal, the back lot, and the Jaws would come out, and it was such and they
yes,
had Back to the Future, the ride for Back to the Future. They changed that one. It's now all Harry Potter. But that Back to Future where it's like you're in the chair and it moves and the screen's in front of you. It's like a wild ride. Jaws and Back to the Future at Universal was the best. The best.
yes.
I know you have Harry
Those were
Potter,
great.
but bring those two back because we love it.
Yes, they were very popular attractions. And then with the Jaws, they would play the music, the classic music, and the shark was coming out and people were screaming, and it was so much fun, you know. But yeah, that really did it for me.
Yeah.
So
And is there any favorite
yeah,
movie shot in the thing? Any favorite movie shot you would like to in a film?
in any particular film, or there's just so many. There's so many that I have on the list that I just love. You know what I mean? So a lot of times I'll either go, like, and if you go on YouTube, they'll have like HD clips of all. So sometimes I just watch certain clips of movies. Like, say, for example, we spoke about Goodfellas, and the um the famous scene, which turned out to be improvisational scene with Joe Pesci when he's talking about funny. You're a funny guy. What do you mean I'm funny? Funny how? Like I'm a clown? I mean, you funny how? The way he does that, and I just love that, and I every once in a while I just got to see that again, knowing that he got that he told Scorsese that one time when he was a kid he worked in a restaurant, and there was a mob guy in there that he was trying to impress the guy, and he said something to the guy like, oh, you're really funny and everything, and the guy turned on him like that and scared the hell out of him. So he remembered that. That's actually a true story. And he asked Scorsese, could I do this a little bit? And Scorsese was the type that would let the actors, go ahead, let's see what you got. And they loved it so much, they kept it in there. It was not a scripted scene. And
Wow.
so things like that, like, stand out with me. And I love that kind of stuff. So I love going back, to that and seeing that again. And then, speaking of Jaws again, Roy Scheider, the scene when he sees how big the shark is, and he backs in, and Quintus and he goes, "You're gonna need a bigger boat." That was also an improvisational line. It wasn't in the script. So that kind of stuff, I always sticks out with me. Those kind of scenes, and knowing the background of the scene, how it came about, and that the lines were improvisational, if that was the case, and it just makes it even more fascinating to me. I love all that stuff. I love all behind the scenes stuff, by the way. I love all the, you know, when you get the DVD and it tells you the whole behind the scenes of the making of the movie. Well, I'm the guy that's like studying that.
Well, I
I
just
just love
want to,
that.
yeah, I just want to tell everyone thank you for coming back to part 2, and please go to Ben Fiore. Ben, can you give your website one more time? We have a few minutes.
It's www.benfiore.us. That's BenFiore, one word, .us. And that's my website. And, you know, I'm also, of course, I'm on social media as well. I have a Ben Fiore screenwriter page on Facebook, as a matter of fact. And I'm on Instagram as Ben Fiore screenwriter as well. So, you know, but benfiore.us is the regular website.
Thank you,
As
everyone.
well